Ancient India and the World. Introduction. India has a continuous history covering a very long period. Evidence of Neolithic habitation dating as far back as 7000 BC has been found in Mehergarh in Baluchistan. However, the first notable civilization flourished in India around 2700 BC in the northwestern part of the Indian subcontinent, covering a large area. What is covered in the lesson? India and the countries of the West, India and the other countries in Asia. India and the countries of the West. The culture associated with the Harappan civilization is the first known urban culture in India. The Harappans built the earliest cities. People of the Harappan civilization had developed trade relations with the countries of the West. Ever since then, India has had economic and cultural exchanges with the outside world. Hinduism underwent many changes in history. Hindu tradition even accepted Buddha as one of the incarnations of Vishnu. Later, Buddhism had spread to Afghanistan and to many countries of Central Asia. During the period of the Iranian Empire, India's contact with the Western world increased. The Greek historians of that period grew more curious about India. Their writings introduced India to the Western world. The routes which were later used by Alexander were opened for trade between India and the countries of the West. Under the influence of the Greek art of sculpture, a new form of art emerged in India during the Kushana period. It is called Gandhara School of Art. In the Gandhar art school, images of Gautama Buddha were mainly carved. As these images were mostly found in the Gandhara region of Afghanistan, the style is called the Gandhara style. The Greeks had some influence on Indian astrology as well. The facial features of the statues made in this style are similar to those of the Greek people. The early coins that were minted in India were also like Greek coins. As the Greek writers left dated records of Alexander's campaign, it helped us a great deal to frame the chronology of ancient Indian history. The date of Alexander's invasion, 326 BC, provides a definite marker for arranging the sequence of historical events in India. Around the 1st or 2nd century CE, trade between India and Rome flourished. The ports in South India also had a large share in this trade. Some articles made of bronze were found in the excavations at Kolhapur. They had been made in Rome. The excavations at Arikamedu in Tamil Nadu have also brought to light many articles made in Rome. Both these places were important centers of trade between India and Rome. Many such trade centers are mentioned in the literature of those times. Alexandria was an important port in Egypt. The Arab merchants carried Indian goods up to Alexandria. From there, they were sent to the countries in Europe. Besides Indian goods, the Arabs also conveyed Indian philosophy and science to Europe. The concept of zero is one of India's major contributions to the world. It was the Arabs who introduced this Indian concept to India and other countries in Asia. Many countries in Asia were greatly influenced by the Indian culture of those times. Sri Lanka. Ashoka was deeply influenced by the Buddhist principles of compassion, peace, and non-violence. Ashoka had embraced Buddhism and devoted his entire life to spreading the message of Dharma in India and abroad. King Ashoka had sent his son Mahendra and daughter Sanghamitra to Sri Lanka to spread Buddhism. Their names are mentioned in the Buddhist text, Mahavamsa, written in Sri Lanka. Sanghamitra carried a branch of the Bodhi tree with her. The Sri Lankan tradition believes that the Bodhi tree at Anuradhapura in Sri Lanka has grown from the same branch. There was a great demand in India for Sri Lankan pearls and other precious stones. In the 5th century CE, King Kashyap had caves dug out at a place called Sigiriya. The wall paintings in these caves bear a resemblance to the paintings in the Ajanta caves. The Sri Lankan Buddhist works Deepavamsa and Mahavamsa provide information about the close relations between India and Sri Lanka. They are written in the Pali language. China and other countries. Right from the ancient times, India and China had established trade and cultural relations. Emperor Harshavardhan had even sent an ambassador to the Chinese court. Chinese silk was known as Chinanshuka and was in great demand in India. Merchants in ancient India supplied Chinese silk to Western countries. The Silk Road was one of the first trade routes to join the Eastern and the Western worlds. The land route by which the silk trade was carried on was called the Silk Route. Some ancient places in India were connected to this route. Along the Silk Roads, technology traveled, ideas were exchanged, and friendship and understanding between East and West were experienced for the first time on a large scale. Nalasopara near Mumbai in Maharashtra was one such place. The Chinese Buddhist bhikkhus, Fahian and Yuan Shuang, also came to India through this Silk Route. In the 1st century CE, the Ming Emperor of China invited the Buddhist bhikkhus Dharmarakshaka and Kashyap Matanga to China. The bhikkhus translated many Indian Buddhist texts into the Chinese language. This gave impetus to the spread of Buddhism in China. Later on, Buddhism also reached Japan, Korea, and Vietnam. Countries in Southeast Asia. The ancient kingdom of Funan in Cambodia was established in the 1st century CE. Evidence is available from Chinese traditions that an Indian named Kaundinya established it. People of Funan knew the Sanskrit language. A stone inscription of that period is still in existence. It is in Sanskrit. In many other countries of Southeast Asia too, small kingdoms established by people of Indian origin had emerged. These kingdoms helped to spread Indian culture in Southeast Asia. Indian culture had a deep impact on the art and cultural life of Southeast Asia. Dance dramas based on stories from the two Indian epics, Ramayana and Mahabharata, are popular in Indonesia even today. This influence continued to increase over the years. In the ancient period, the Buddhist religion spread to Myanmar, Thailand, Indonesia, etc. In the later years, temples of Lord Shiva and Vishnu were also built there. This year, we have reviewed Indian history from 3000 BCE to the 8th century CE. Next year, we will study the history of India from the 9th century CE to the 18th century CE. The history of this period is known as medieval history.